we're seeing snapshots of people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
And we look at the snapshot in their lives and we compare that moment to what we're going through. We have no idea what they're going through behind that. You know, we see these couples and you know their pictures and all of that, and they could have gotten into the biggest argument like 2 seconds before that. We see people's, you know, successes, but we don't understand the journey that it took to get there. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our show, In the Moment. You know, this is the show where we're going to teach you guys how to enjoy everyday life. You know, how to take advantage from moment to moment, how to, you know, take advantage of week to week, to month, to year, and just to really take advantage of the moments that are right before you. I got my sidekick to the left, the one and only Diogene Brown in the building. He's going to be challenging me on a little bit from here and there, but he's gonna have some interesting questions just to kind of keep the conversation going, and eventually we're gonna be able to get actual questions from our audience, YouTube, and via Instagram as well. I'm excited to have one of our main guys in the building, Last Ever Productions. Can y'all give it up for Pedro? Y'all can't see him, but he's there. He is there. And I got my boy Torre doing his thing. Sorry, I just messed up your name, bro. I'm just, you know, Torre is just like how I've always pronounced the name, but Tori, I love that. That's even better. Give it up for my boy Tori in the house. Because without you, we wouldn't even have to be visual right now. So thank you so much. You know, this show I'm really excited about because I think that overall we're here to really, really help people get out of a place of depression, get out of a place of feeling stuck, get out of a place of living an anxious lifestyle. You know, a lot of us right now, we're discouraged because social media, you know, more times often than not, causes us to be discouraged. You know, we think we're doing our thing, and all of a sudden we look at other people's posts, we look at their followings, we see what they're doing. But I just feel like in this life that we live in, there's so many obstacles that come against us from enjoying everyday life. You know, we say things like, you know, I'm going to be happy one day. You know, I'll be happy when I get this house. I'll be happy when I get into this relationship. I'll be happy when I finally start making this money. I'll finally be happy when I get the promotion. I'll finally be happy when I get this project off the ground. I'll finally be happy when I'm in this place in our lives. And on the journey of pursuing to be happy, we're missing valuable moments in our life. And so I've been through so much in my life, and I've lived, you know, I've experienced all type of things, and I'm just so I'm so ready to really, really help people get out of the same holes and ditches that I have been stuck in. And so on this show, we're going to keep it 100. We're going to keep it authentic, and we're just really going to be in the moment. And I just feel like over time, man, we're going to develop something that that's really going to be a blessing to so many people. So we thank you for tuning in and watching us. We are going to be having a show every single week, and we're just going to see where we're going to take it from there. So today on this episode, all right, I want to talk about something that keeps a lot of us trapped, and I'm calling this the comparison trap.
When you say comparison trap,
I haven't got started yet. You already got a question.
Yeah. Like what's like a, you know, good or bad comparison?
What's a good or bad comparison? I think a good comparison, there's people in my life, the things that I'm pursuing. You know, I'm blessed to have a church now. I was in the YouTube world doing videos for gamers, and in the process of stepping into new territory,
I think we got cut. Dang. Hey, we got cut that. I think I asked the wrong question at the wrong time. I want to ask that question later. Dang.
Going back in 5.
Going back.
Wait.
Wait.
Hold on.
No.
Look,
It's a great question, but I want to ask that question later.
Forget the production, okay? We in the moment right now, okay? We in the moment right now. You go, cut time out. Ain't no cutting time out. We're going to keep it going because that was a really good question. You see what this is what they do behind the scenes. We're not cutting nothing, okay? We are in the moment. I was about to share something right now. That was really good.
I just felt like I could have asked that question.
But you know what? You can ask it again later. But we have to address it to our audience right now. Come on. But I just say we're going to keep it real. You going to say time out? Come on, man. Jesus. Let me say this, because that was a really good question. Okay. I'm trying to gather myself, because Pedro's voice. Okay, 5, 4, 3. I will say this. I feel like as I got started in different crafts, and I feel like for a lot of us, when you're trying to, when you have a goal, when you have an expectation, when you have a place that you want to be in life, I think there's certain comparisons with people that push you to be good, push you to be great. I love sports. On this show, we're going to be using a lot of examples with sports. And, when I think about somebody like Kobe Bryant, my favorite, player all the time, and he's somewhere on the wall, where are you? Right there. Kobe used Michael Jordan, right? Yeah. As the ceiling for him. Yes. And so that comparison, it didn't discourage Kobe. It pushed him. I mean, he almost got it. Kobe should have had about 7, 8 rings if it wasn't for all the debacles with all the other things that happened. But the point is that there's certain comparisons that push us forward. Yes. But when I talk about the comparison trap, Diogene, I'm talking about something that it traps us. It keeps us unfulfilled. It keeps us stuck in certain areas of our lives because we're never content. We're never fulfilled because we constantly compare ourselves to other people in an unhealthy way that makes us look at ourselves and doubt ourselves and causes us to be unhappy with ourselves, Okay. And I honestly believe that this is an epidemic. I believe that this is something that is so significant in our culture, and it is the comparison trap. Yeah. It really, really is. The one example that I have of this is that, when I thought about, what we're going to talk about, I thought about my first race when I was a sophomore in high school, and I finally made the track team, and I was so excited to just be a part of a team and run track, and I thought I was fast. I thought it was cool, So my first meet, I'll never forget this day, man. This was my first meet. I told my dad to be there, my family there. The whole school comes out. I'm talking about it was like a movie. It was girls in the stands. We had cheerleaders, and I remember I was coming up, and I remember the guy said, "Okay, on your marks." So we got on our marks, and it's like when I look at the crowd, it's the biggest crowd. I feel like I'm in college already. I mean, I don't know, hundreds of people. Got all my friends are there. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm about to do something special. I'm about to set this world on fire. I don't know what I'm supposed to do, but I feel like it could be this. So he said, on your mark, get ready, set, go. As soon as I heard, boom, I'm out. And when I say listen, y'all, when I say this was the 200, I'm running like I got fire behind me. I've never run this fast in my life, right? I'm running so fast that I'm surprised. I'm surprising myself. I don't know if you've ever done anything in life and you surprised how good you are at something. I play basketball, do other sports, but I didn't know I was this fast. I'm running so fast. I look behind me, right? And everybody is behind me, bro. I'm talking about, I hear everybody in the stands, because this was on our home turf, right? Yeah. It was at our school, Grant High School. And everybody is screaming. I hear my name being shouted. This is it. I'm about to be in the newspaper, and this is about to take me someplace, right? Yeah. And as I'm turning, as I'm making the turn, right, to turn to run, to run to the finish line. As I'm making the turn, I feel somebody on the left of me. I just feel their presence. I just feel them running up on me, and I started to look and see who this person is trying to come up on me. So I look to my left, and this person is right here. Now this next moment of my life will be described as feeling like you are stuck in quicksand. Okay. I look to my left, and I'm still running, but he's like this. And I'm still running. I'm still running. And then let me tell y'all this. It wasn't just him.
There's multiple people.
There were other people. And other people. And other people. And all of a sudden, the humiliation and the embarrassment begin to overcome me, to the point that I finished dead last. I finished last. That was the joke for the rest of the year, by the way. Okay? It was that beat. Okay. I was in first place halfway. Everyone's behind me, and I finished last. I was devastated. And you know how it got there? I honestly believe something happened when I looked to my left and I compared myself with the other person in the other lane.
And that's so true.
Comparison trap.
Definitely. And your track analogy is really good because when you start.
I'm sorry. Is he really on the phone right now? Is Pedro on the phone right now? What is going on? Is there an emergency? Okay. You guys just keep going.
And crazy thing about it, and like track is actually a great analogy for comparison because except for the 100, every other race for the most part staggered. Yeah. So you never know where you're really at. So like once you're looking at somebody who's in front of you, but they're really not in front of you. Everybody has 200 meters to run. So when you take off and you look around, you're like, I'm winning.
Wow.
And that's the way I think people are looking at other people's lives when they're comparing it. You don't know what stage that person's currently in. It just may be staggered. You may look like it may look like they're in front because that's the visual that you have. But once you turn that corner, it's a totally different game.
I love that. I love that you just said that because we compare ourselves to people, we hate on people, and we don't know what they went through to get there.
No idea.
We don't know how much time they put into their craft. We just see people blow up overnight, and we compare ourselves to them, and it's like, no, you don't know that person has been in the lab for years. You didn't see their work ethic, behind the scenes when everybody was out partying. What were they doing? They were studying. They were working on something. They were sacrificing their time and their money and their energy. And so I love that. Yeah. And I feel like that's kind of the overall, snippet with social media where, we're seeing snapshots of people's lives. And we look at the snapshot in their lives and we compare that moment to what we're going through. We have no idea what they're going through behind that. We see these couples and their pictures and all of that, and they could have gotten to the biggest argument like 2 seconds before that. We see people's successes, but we don't understand the journey that it took to get there. And overall, man, I just feel like comparison trap happens to a lot of us. And one of the things that I found out was, what being unfulfilled really is?
No, let me know.
Unfulfilled. I'm surprised you don't know because you know everything.
Well, like I have an idea of what it means, but okay. I'm always willing to learn.
Love that, man. Unfulfilled means to live life feeling that you have untapped potential. When you're unfulfilled or unfulfillment is living in a space where you feel like it's a frustration that is so there. It's a confusion. It's there's something that is missing from my life, but really what it is just really untapped potential. And one of the things that keeps our potential untapped is when we get into the trap of comparing ourselves to other people. One of the people that really comes to my mind when I think about this in the Bible, and we're gonna talk about the Bible. We're gonna talk about other different sources and all of that. What you believe is what you believe. I'm just telling you. Yeah. You know what I mean? This is who I am. We're in the moment, so, but I honestly believe that no matter, because I know I have people that follow me and are going to be following this show that maybe come from different beliefs or different backgrounds. You're going to get something out of this every single episode. I guarantee you that. So there's so much great knowledge and wisdom that you can find in the Bible as well. Definitely. So anyways, there was this king. His name was King Saul. King Saul, it's not just in the Bible. I mean, this is history. He was the first king of Israel thousands of years ago. And as Saul was doing his thing, see, Saul had the power, right? We can kind of like stay on this a little bit to kind of take our time on this. But Saul was king. He had the status. He had the money. He had the followers. He had the family that everybody wanted. He had the marriage that everyone wanted. He was the star. You said what?
I said marriages.
Marriages.
Yeah, he just have one. Marriages.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I was just trying to be a little more, trying to modernize it. Okay. He had like 50 wives. Okay. Anyways, he was literally the envy of everybody in town. But the thing about Saul was, although he had the appearance, although he had the physical possessions, although he had the material possessions, Saul was really unfulfilled. There was this insecurity that he had, because let me tell you this, money is not the thing that's going to fulfill you, right? You get some money, what's going to happen is you're going to want more money and more money. If you think that one woman, if you're just looking for a woman to fulfill you, then you're going to have to try to get another woman, or make the woman that you currently have feel like she's not good enough, because there's always something more and something more you want her to do, or something more for you. When you and that's vice versa. That's even, for a woman, for a man, or for whoever, like, there are things in this life that we think like, oh, if I get this, then I'm going to be fulfilled. And really what it is, I'm just being honest, a lot of us have a God-sized void that we try to fill with the new job, or the vacation, or, the new car, or whatever, and so Saul has this unfulfillment. But let me tell you this, it's because he had untapped potential. And as soon as this guy named David comes around, this kid, David, he puts in position. David just slayed Goliath. David is coming up, right? Saul's the man, but David is coming up. And I remember the first battle that it says in the Bible that they had. They fought against their enemy, the Philistines. And they go to war, they win. And so as they're coming back into town, at this point, Saul is like, David is, he's my guy. I'm going to mentor him. He's my son's age. Yeah. I'm going to take care of him. I'm going to be a father figure to him. Cool. Saul is in his position. He's comfortable. Everything is great. But as they're coming into town in their chariots, all the women and all the people are on both sides, and they're coming into town, and all the women are saying, Saul killed thousands. But then in the song, they say, David killed 10,000s. And they repeat this over and over again until this seed comes into Saul's soul, and he begins for the first time looking at David and begins to compare who he is to who David is. King Saul is here. Yeah. He's the king. David is a kid with no money. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, he takes care of sheep. But because Saul begins to analyze and look at David, what happens is that Saul ends up getting caught in the comparison trap. He ends up losing his momentum. He ends up falling away from God. He ends up doing things out of his character, because now he's so focused on David that he forgets about who he is. And a lot of times is that, when we focus on other people, we forget who we are, and we forget what we have. Yes. To the point where Saul loses his entire kingdom. Yeah. And the next person who steps in to get the kingdom is David. Because Saul looks to David, looks at what David is doing, and loses momentum. And just like in my track meet, David surpasses Saul. Yeah. And wins the race. That's so the comparison trap. Man.
You mentioned something about Saul and about unfulfillment. The question, I think a big question is, where does unfulfillment come from? How do we fill that void? And how do we not lean into comparing ourselves to other people?
There's a scripture, it says in Jeremiah 29:11, and this is something this is for everybody. Like I said, I don't care what you believe or whatever, like this is really powerful, because purpose is real. And Jeremiah 29:11, the scripture says, God says, for I know the plans that I have for you, plans to prosper you, not to harm you, but plans to give you a hope and a future. Basically what God is saying, Diogene, he's saying, I have a lane for you. For you. I have your own lane. And in this lane, you're going to feel the wind behind your back all the days of your life. I've already set things for you. I have plans for you. I have great things in store for you. And the thing about it is that no matter where you've been, what you've done, what's happening, in your life right now, how your marriage is, your family is, if you're single, if you're in college or in high school, or you retired, or, you're trying to figure out your next step, and you're transitioning, you're moving somewhere, you're trying to get a new job, you feel lost, or maybe you don't feel lost, but you're stuck in routine. No matter where you are in your life, the thing that encourages all of us is to know that there is a lane for you. And if you are alive and you are breathing, that means there's so much more that God has for you. And so I believe that when we get out of that lane and we begin to look outwardly into what's happening in other people's lives, I believe we begin to get stuck in that unfulfillment, right? to feel like, man, like I just feel like I'm lost. And so, you know, I always tell people, man, to be honest with you, I think it always starts with going back to a place where you can begin to meditate with God, you know, where you can begin to journal things down. Maybe you need to take a break. Maybe you need to go to the beach. Maybe you need to go to a lake. Maybe you need to go to the park. Maybe you just need to get up a little earlier or go to bed later and just set aside time to really kind of do a time of introspection, you know, and say, okay, I'm moving really fast, but what do you have for me, God? Like, what do you have in store for me? And that really is, like, I think the first major step for finding your lane, you know?
And do you think people are comparing what other people do, or are they comparing what other people have?
I mean, I think it's both, you know? I think it's both.
Like, you think, like, say, you know, if somebody has a job and it's just a normal, basic job, nothing too crazy, but say they have women and all these other things in life, do you think they're going to compare themselves to another person with a similar job, that doesn't have what they have? Or you think it's just like, no, this person's just better than me at my job, and that's why I'm comparing myself to, like do you have like an example would be like, you think as a professional athlete, they're comparing who's better at basketball, or you think they get into comparing the trap of who has more women, who has the bigger contract, who has this, or you think it's more just like, hey, I'm just, you know, comparing who's better at basketball?
Yeah, I mean, that's wow.
That might be a loaded question.
Yeah, I actually have no idea what the question is, but
no, the question is like, do you think people are comparing what they have or what they do? Like, as a basketball player, you think people compare themselves as basketball players, or do you think they're constantly comparing themselves to what they have?
I mean, at the end of the day, I think we're all different, and I think people are people, and again, there's a healthy comparison and there's an unhealthy comparison. I think a lot of the topics we're always going to kind of talk about, the balance of it is there's a healthy way to do this, and there's an unhealthy way to do this. You know, excuse me. Ooh,
like, you're a preacher, you're a pastor.
Yeah.
So for you, you know, like, would you give me an example of like maybe a healthy comparison? Are you comparing like, oh man, like their message was good, I can take from that? Or are you comparing like who has more people inside the church?
Yeah. I think it always has to go down. I think it always has to really, really go back to the place of where you're at in your life. Like, where are you in your heart? How do you see yourself? Because I feel like if you see yourself in a negative light, obviously we all have flaws, we all have issues, right? But what I mean is like who you are, your self-worth, you know, your self-esteem. If your self-esteem is broken, let me tell you this. When you look at other people and you compare yourself, that will turn to jealousy.
Okay.
You know, that will turn to envy. That will, because you're not happy with yourself. I feel like when you're secure about yourself, when other people are blessed around you or other people are blessed in the things that you desire, there's something that pushes you to be great yourself.
Yes.
You know, I have friends growing up, and I had friends that unfortunately were jealous of me when you know, I came to school with the new Jordans, you know, or, you know, if I had the girlfriend or if my family was blessed. But then I had other friends that would really, really show love. Like, man, that's dope. Like, wow, man, like, good for you. Like, I see you're happy. I see you're, because they're first of all, they're secure with themselves. And if you're secure with yourself, you actually are able to be secure with other people.
Okay.
You know? So, I think it's twofold. I think it's twofold with how you see yourself and where you're at in life with yourself. And so there's a lot of people, and we're stuck in the comparison trap in such a negative way because of how we see ourselves. You know, if you see yourselves as small, then anybody else's success confirms how small you are. Yeah. Right. And so, but I will say this, I feel like in the journey of our life and how we're growing and who we are, I think you got to be real honest with yourself, right? If you are going through a time in your life and you are feeling the low self-esteem and you're feeling, you know, right now in this area of my life, you know, if you got kids and your kids is struggling and, you know, they're just bad right now, you know, it's probably unhealthy to kind of, you know, follow, you know, this family with their kids, and you see all the accolades and see how they're doing. Like, for me, when I became a pastor, you know, I was comparing myself in an unhealthy way, as you said. Yeah. So there were people that I saw that had major success, you know, and and it was affecting me because I was just getting started, to the point where I had to like start unfollowing certain, public speakers, and because it was making me feel, I was already insecure, and it was making me feel worse.
Okay.
So I had to be honest with myself, and I had to unfollow. So I just think it comes down to also, just being honest with where you are, in your life.
Can I ask another question?
Let's go.
So when people are comparing themselves, I think they're comparing, with the happiness they see, right? That's kind of what I think they see on social media is the other person's happiness. And I think people confuse happiness and joy. And I was wondering if you can like kind of explain like the difference between the two, because you're not comparing your joy to their joy. You're comparing your happiness to their happiness. And those are two separate feelings.
Wow. Yeah, I think, happiness and joy, I'm sure we're going to bring that up on other episodes and kind of relate it to the topic. But, happiness is very emotional based. And there's a lot of people that are addicted to the feeling of being happy. And that's the reason why you go on shopping sprees. That's the reason why you feel like, you need this, do this drug. Right,
another woman or another whatever,
thrill,
another car,
another material, because we're addicted to finding the happiness. Although the happiness is short lived, you find the happiness, right, and then it's like smoke, it evaporates, and then all of a sudden you're left feeling unhappy again, right? But joy is something that I believe starts at a place of you're not just fulfilled. You're not just happy because of the moments that are in your life. You are happy, right, because of who you are. You're happy because of maybe your relationship with God or the people that are in your life, or you're happy with your life. Your life. You're grateful for the little things. You're grateful and you're content with the blessings that you have, and not only just with the blessings you had, because that could switch overnight. I mean, you saw Job lost everything, right? So, and he still would not curse God. He lost everything, and that's another episode. I think that, but anyways, so I just feel like the difference between joy and happiness is temporary, but joy is something that's everlasting. Joy is consistent. Joy is, you can have joy. I know people that have lost their jobs, and I see them, and they still got a smile on their face. I know people that just, lost, a loved one, and I see them months later, and they're encouraging me. I'm like, wow. We know people who are, who are going, had to battle cancer, and they're still optimistic and they're still positive. Like, what is that? Like, that's joy. So
I think a great example of that is like when a person plays a professional sport, and then you realize that when they retire, they coach like a high school team. Like they were happy to be in that professional sport, whether it's the NFL or NBA, but they enjoy playing the sport so much that they will go to the lowest level and coach it. And I think that's like difference between like another example of like joy and happiness. Like, I'm happy to be there, but the joy I have for this, the genuine love in what I'm doing, it allows me to do it all the time. And just, have the best time in it.
I love that. I have no idea what that has to do with comparison trap, but
it's
good
though.
But it's good. You need joy. You need joy, and you need happiness.
No, the reason why I would say it's comparison trap was because I was asking you, like, you think people are comparing each other's happiness, and that's what you're seeing. They're not necessarily understanding, like, is this person even joyful? They just see the new car, the new whatever, and so that's what they want. And then when you get it, you say you get that unfulfilled feeling. And I was asking, like, does that unfulfilled feeling come from happiness? Because you're searching for happiness instead of searching for joy. So that's where I was wondering.
No, that's really, really good. Really, really, really good. I'll end with this for today's episode. I feel like when you begin to compare yourselves to other people in other lanes in an unhealthy way, it gets you to take your eyes off of what's in your hand. There's something that is in your hand. There's something that is in your life. There's something that you are stewarding over. There's a position at a job that you have. Maybe you're a student, but you're stewarding over. You're overseeing that in this stage of your life. Or maybe you're taking care of a loved one and you're a caregiver. Like you're a guardian over them. Or maybe you have a job and you're overseeing people, you're managing people, or maybe you have your own business and you have clientele and you have all type of clients and relationships. There's a responsibility that you have over them. Maybe you don't have 10 employees. Maybe you have one employee and maybe you're only paying them, part-time. But no matter where you are in your life or what's in your hands, there's something in your hands. And so when we begin to compare ourselves with other people and sometimes we compare ourselves to the future us.
Yes.
Have you thought about that? Sometimes we have so much vision and we see I struggle with this all the time. Okay, I'm telling you right now. We have so much vision of where we know we're going to be or where we know we're called to be that we actually compare our future selves to our present selves. And sometimes when we compare the future selves and we see the platform and we see the influence and we see where we're supposed to be and the success and where our families are going to be at that time, it makes us, it can discourage us of our current situation. And so I feel like all those things, all those examples, the whole distraction behind it is to get you to take your focus off the faithfulness of your life. There's something in your life. And one of the scriptures that I want to leave you with today, and we'll get more deeper into this because there's another topic that I want to talk about, but he says, if you are faithful with the little, I will make you ruler over much. And maybe there's something in your life. Maybe there's a new podcast like this. Maybe there's a book and you've only written, 3 words in it. Maybe there's a song or maybe there's whatever that you feel the desire of your life. You may look at it, oh, this is so small. This is nothing. I mean, compared to what they're doing, I mean, this is, oh my God, this is whatever. But God doesn't look at what you have as small. He actually looks at it as big, as treasure. Yes. And so sometimes we can curse our treasure. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we can overlook the gift that we have. I know maybe you're still developing it, or maybe it's a craft or something, and you're still kind of new at this, or you're not confident to do this in front of people, or you're working on some stuff. But whatever that little thing is to you, let me tell you this. It's treasure. And I just really feel up my heart for someone watching right now. I don't know who this is for, but it's for somebody to be faithful with what you have, to really go all in with that, mm-hmm. to really treasure that, to really, develop it, to research, to take class, to, whatever it is. Some of us got to go back to school, maybe do some extra studying here or whatever. But whatever that thing that God has given you, it's a seed, and that seed will turn into a harvest. You will be so blessed by it. As long as you stop taking your eyes off of your future you in a negative way and taking your eyes off of the unhealthy comparisons in your life and really just focus right now. Okay, God, like no matter where I'm at, no matter how old I am, I know I thought I was going to be here by now. I know I thought I was going to accomplish this goal by now, but it's not. But instead of that discouraging you, how about this? How about you just kind of take a couple steps back and just really just focus on what you have. Focus on what God has put in your hands. Be faithful to it. Keep watering it. It's a seed. If you keep watering it, if you keep practicing, keep developing, keep being consistent, the seed's going to turn into a harvest. So, yeah, comparison trap. I hope you guys really enjoyed this episode. Follow us on our Instagram page. I believe it's In the Moment with KA. I should know it by heart. It's still new. And our YouTube. Listen, subscribe to the channel. First of all, like the video. Share this episode with people. Share this, what we're doing. Look, we're trying to be a light in a dark place, right? We're trying to be positive in a time where it is so needed with all the confusion and distractions in our own world and government and life, and it's crazy. So, man, rock with this every single week. I really believe that, we're going to learn together how to grow and how to make the most of the moment that we're in and enjoy everyday life. So, we'll see you with the next one.